Have you ever wondered what it's like to teach, thrive, and advocate while living with chronic illnesses? Today we have a special guest, Katie Storm, on the Royal Buzz, and today she's going to dive into S is for Spoonie and the power of purpose through pain. Today, I promise you're going to leave feeling seen, inspired, and empowered to turn challenges into purposes. Hi, I'm the host, Trina Myers, Miss Elite United USA, the Zebra Queen, Legacy Maker, CEO of Rare Wish, and Queen Bee of Creative Marketing Agency. And today, my guest, Katie Storm, a fellow Spoonie, educator, and pageant queen. Thank you for joining the Royal Buzz, your go-to podcast where buzzworthy on pageantry, advocacy, and positivity, where hype meets hype. Listen to the magic one story at a time. And today I promise that you're going to leave feeling seen, inspired, and empowered to turn challenges into purpose. So thank you so much for joining us today, Katie.
Yes, thank you so much for having me here today.
How I met Katie through doing a mock interview for her as she was preparing to compete in a pageant. And that's when I learned about her background and what she's going to share with you today. And I just thought it was so interesting, the fact that we have the same rare disease. And so and Katie's on the West Coast. So I'm here in Metro Atlanta. It's pretty warm today. and Katie, tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from.
Yes, I am a teacher and I live on the West Coast, like you said, in Washington State. It is very rainy and cold today. It is not warm at all today.
No, I would be bundled up in sweats and probably having a heated blanket around me.
Yeah, thankfully the heat works really well in my house, so I don't need that. But yes,
Okay.
very bundled up right now.
Well, unfortunately, one of the things that we tend to challenge with is temperature regulation. So when I hear cold, I'm just like, oh, that puts a shiver down my spine.
Yeah.
So, Katie, what is this S stands for Spoonie? Can you tell us a little bit more about this?
Yes, so I compete within the Miss America opportunity, and as a requirement, contestants have to have a CSI, a community service initiative that they promote throughout their year of service. And so I chose S is for Spoonie, supporting individuals living with a chronic illness as a way to teach others about chronic illness and what it is and what life is like with it, but also how to support others going through it.
Wow. So when you say how to support others who are going through these challenges, do you have any examples?
Yes, so I have some medical conditions that I'm still being diagnosed with. Like we haven't quite figured out what's going on, but my friends, at first they were like, "How are we supposed to help you? We don't know how to help you going through this." And so it made me realize that other people don't necessarily know what's going on or how to help, and they might want to help, but they can't if they don't know what's happening. And so that's kind of my goal is that to educate others so that they might know how to help somebody going through something.
Right. And that's so true. There's a lot of resources out there and some really great websites. However, we could share that with our friends and family, right? But if you had something that was maybe a little bit more tangible, you could actually put in their hands. Maybe they're more likely to read it and understand it more.
Yeah, and like resources are so helpful. Example, I have EpiPens for my food allergies and also my mast cell activation syndrome because sometimes I've had random reactions to things that I was like, I didn't know I was gonna have a reaction to that. But I'm so glad I had an EpiPen that thankfully I've never had to use, but we had to watch very quickly to see if it was gonna get worse. But I have the generic EpiPens. There's a lot of resources out there for how to use an EpiPen that is name brand, for example,
Uh-huh.
but I was like, I don't even know how to use this EpiPen. And so I found a resource online from the manufacturer and I was able to share it with my friends and myself and just be like, hey, if I ever can't give myself the EpiPen, here's how you use this.
Yeah. Wow. And did you get any feedback from your friends for sharing that information?
They were like, thank you. Hopefully we never have to use this. And I was like,
Right.
I agree.
Me too. I have one as well. And I have those same challenges with mast cell, and I just never know. Like you said, it just could be something random, and then my throat, could feel my airway starting to get tight. Luckily, I can just pop in a couple of allergy meds, and it seems to control it right now. But
Yeah.
that's scary. And I can only imagine, having somebody around me and not knowing what to do. So that's great. And are you doing anything in particular with that? Like with the education part, are you making a book or?
Yeah, so I do a Spoonie Sunday on Instagram where I kind of share mostly examples of life living with chronic illness because I think that's the first step in educating others about how to support them. It's just knowing what is chronic illness and what does it look like.
Ooh,
And then I also share resources and things on how to support others. And right now, that's all that I have the energy for. So that's what we're sticking with
right.
for now.
Wow. So when did you realize that there was something not quite right and, that you wanted to take this topic because it's obvious very important to you and educating others?
Yeah, so 13 years ago, I first got sick, but it took 11 years for doctors to diagnose me with anything. And that was really hard because my quality of life sucked because
Right.
doctors could not help me. They could not really treat me with anything because they didn't know what was happening. And I've had doctors tell me, like, we think you have this, but until we know for sure, we can't treat you
Mhm.
because we would make it worse if this is indeed not what you have. And
Right.
so my friends and family were the ones that got me through that like tough time, but
Mhm.
they were doing the best that they could with what they had. And there are things that I've learned now that I was like, wow, if only they knew back then that I didn't even know back then, this would have helped me a lot more. And so I want to be able to
Mhm.
share that with others because, again, if you don't know, you can't help.
Right. Wow. You mentioned that you're a teacher, and so you're teaching while having a chronic illness. Can you tell us more? How does that affect your everyday life?
Yeah, so teaching in general drains your energy. All my coworkers and they're like, okay, we're just gonna go like take a nap, like goodbye. We're so tired. And so I extra don't have energy at the end of the day because all my spoons are gone. So one of the things that I do is like save spoons while I'm at home, whether that's like grocery pickup or delivery, so that I don't have to go grocery shopping
Wow.
or making sure that my lunchbox is packed and in the fridge so that all I have to do is grab it in the morning or my outfit's picked out. Things that just are already done so that I can save as much spoons as possible. But I've
Wow.
also been blessed with just the best admin who's super supportive and the best students ever. They really will rise to the occasion and can support people or be accepting of people with chronic illnesses if you give them the
Right.
chance. And I've
Right.
learned that while teaching.
Wow. So having a routine has been significantly helpful to help you be the best productive that you can.
Yes. The
How,
days that
oh, go ahead.
I said the days I don't do it, it's definitely rougher on my body when I forget a part of my routine.
Yeah, I bet. I completely understand getting off of a routine and then it's just like your body is in shock and it doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
So, for listeners who maybe don't know what spooning is, we've been talking about it and how many spoons you've used in a day, but and I talk about it all the time in different social media posts, etc. But there could be a listener who doesn't quite understand what we're talking about with spoons. Could you uh, enlighten our audience?
Yeah, so Spoonie is a term often used to describe members of a chronic illness community, and it references the spoon theory, in which spoons are units of energy, and each task or set of tasks that you complete throughout the day require a certain amount of spoons or certain amount of energy. And the idea is that Spoonies typically either wake up with a less amount of spoons than the average person, or the amount of spoons required to do a certain task might be greater than the average person.
Right. And, when I'm explaining my pain levels, my average is a 3 on a scale of 1 to 10 on an average. However, my 3 is probably somebody else's, the average person's maybe 7, 8, possibly 9 or 10,
Yeah.
And so when you're talking about spoons and how many it takes for a day that, like you said, you may wake up and you may have none. Do you have like an idea? Have you ever calculated, for an example, like how many spoons would it take for you to put your clothes together and get ready for your school day?
Yeah, so it definitely depends on how my body's doing that day. There are days where I cannot even do that, where I'm like, I did that and I have to take a nap because my body is so exhausted and I'm in so much pain. Or uh, I'm out of breath and literally all I did was bend down to get a shirt out of a drawer. And so times like that, it takes like every single spoon that I might have had that day. And then there's other times where I do that and I'm like, okay, great. Now I can cook and I can do the laundry and I can vacuum and I can deep clean the bathroom. I have all the spoons in the world. And that's what's really hard to understand is that, and even myself, I never know what version I'm going to get, not even day to day,
Right.
but even hour to hour.
Right. You're absolutely right. And a lot of times when you have these good days, a lot of energy, no pain or low pain, then you overdo it. And
Yep.
that's why the next day we may not be able to get out of bed.
Yep. And it's hard because, again, I don't know what it's going to be. There's times where I've done that and I've been regretting it the next day. And then there's times I've done that and been totally fine the next
Right.
day.
Yes. It is the strangest thing. You are absolutely right. Or I've had it where it'll catch up with me a week or two later. And then
Yep.
it's like, whoa, I forgot all about that.
Yes,
Um,
definitely.
well, thank you so much for coming on the Royal Buzz with me today, Katie. It has been a delight and wonderful experience just to understand what your resilience looks like. And I hope that our audience has felt inspired and has learned, a little bit about the legacies that we're leaving. And, if you would like to find out more about Katie and any of the support, if you're looking for information or how could followers find you, Katie?
Yeah. So right now, I am working on an Instagram for S is for Spoonie. It's not quite ready, where I will do as much as possible posting there. Just because of my job of teaching, I try to keep my personal Instagram private, just
Yeah.
due to that. And so eventually I will have an S is for Spoonie Instagram that I have it all created. It's just we're working on making sure that I have the energy to run it.
Sure. Wow, that's great. I look for you will definitely have to let me know when it's live and I will hop on that and follow it because I'm looking forward to seeing your content.
Okay, awesome. I will for sure let you know.
Great. And don't forget to follow me and our guest on social media. My social media is Miss Elite United USA. And that is all for today's show. So thank you to those who are joining us. And if anything resonated with you, If you'd like to continue this conversation or be a guest, go to my website at creative, that's CRE, the number 8, TIVEHQ for headquarters.com/RSVP. And you can also find about any upcoming live events, learn about the organizations that we support, and supporters of today's episode. So thanks again for tuning in to the Royal Buzz, where you'll discover inspiring stories, empowering discussion, and a whole lot of positivity.